Joining me here in the hub live is Vice Minister of Energy of the Republic of Costa Rica, Mr. Rolando Castro Córdoba, who's here to speak with us about his country's impressive track record towards climate neutrality. Hello and welcome, Mr. Castro Córdoba. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be once again at this Berlin Energy Transition Dialogue.
Castro Córdoba, Costa Rica is already a global front runner when it comes to renewable energy, with nearly 100% of the country's electricity needs being covered by renewable sources like hydropower, wind, geothermal, and solar energy. Now, from a policy-making perspective, what did it take for Costa Rica to achieve this landmark in sustainability?
Well, first of all, we have to say that this is not something recent. This achievement began to be built 70 years ago or more. Perhaps some key issues include to have, I think, a clear vision of sustainability, and I think this is part of our identity as a country, and to maintain this vision in the long run, regardless of different political administrations. I think our predecessors were committed to use the natural resources we have instead of fossil fuels that we have to import. Also, for more than 30 years, we have environment and energy under the same roof in our ministry. And I think this also helps to consolidate a vision of renewable energy. Of course, we have a lot of challenges, climate change and technological disruptions, to mention a few, because our grid is based on large centralized hydropower plants. So we need to keep diversifying our grid and use other vectors such as green hydrogen.
Thank you very much. Now, I know that the Costa Rican transport sector, as well as industrial heating processes, which together I think account for the majority of your country's energy usage, now they're still fueled primarily by fossil fuels. What plans are there to extend decarbonization strategies to these two sectors?
Great question. This is one of our main challenges, and this is at the core of our decarbonization plan 2050 that was launched 2 years ago. As you mentioned before, we have an electricity grid based on renewable energy, so it makes only sense to use this competitive advantage to electrify our transportation sector and our industry. It also makes economic sense if we have to import the fossil fuels that we use. So in order to do so, we have enacted policies and legislation to promote clean transportation, both electric and hydrogen-based cars. So we have incentives, a network of charging stations that covers the whole territory, and competitive tariffs to promote this transportation. As a result, the zero emissions fleet has been growing despite of COVID-19, and so far Costa Rica is the country in Latin America with more electric cars despite the size of its population. Also, we started a pilot project with the help of the German government on electric buses in order to generate the data necessary for the transportation companies to learn about the advantages of this technology. In the industrial sector, we have been promoting among the utility companies to use competitive tariffs to promote this transportation. So far, we have one utility company that has a decarbonization tariff, but we need to work harder in order to offer added value services for the industry to compete with fossil fuels that are cheap but dirty.
Thank you very much, Vice Minister Castro Córdoba of Costa Rica. Now, let's hear about the renewable energy transition in another Latin American country, this time from Chile's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. André Alemán.
Dear friends, Chile has committed itself to reach carbon neutrality by 2050, a goal driven by the fact that while my country is responsible for less than 3% of global CO2 emissions, climate change is imposing serious economic and social threat to the humanity as a whole. This is a problem that will only be curbed if we face it as a global problem, which demands a global solution in which each nation has the responsibility to make an effort to contribute. This explains why Chile's carbon neutrality plan is so ambitious. This strategy is aimed to achieve a clean energy grid that will be the base of a sustainable and green economic growth in the near future. The formula is already well known: to replace contamination fuels with renewable ones such as green hydrogen, that in turn produce clean energy to move different sectors of the economy: mining, industry, transportation. Backing up this ambitious plan, it is the massive Chile renewable energy potential. The Atacama Desert in the north has the highest solar irradiance on the planet, which has driven low-cost solar development. Moreover, Chile has an enormous wind energy potential placed in the southern part of the country, including Patagonia. These natural conditions in an emerging hydrogen market puts Chile in the potential role of a very relevant player. This reflects in the fact that while local legislation is still in process to be tuned, the number of projects to produce green hydrogen in Chile are increasing from 20 in November 2020 to more than 40 projects in a study at this date. The other critical factor supporting our national strategic green energy plan is a particularly strong but still flexible energy regulatory framework, characterized by its neutrality, openness, and private investment friendliness, which has been recognized, among other key actors, by the International Energy Agency. All these combined factors, strong vision and political will, country's natural conditions, and a modern and efficient regulatory framework based on Chile's commitment to the rule of law are the main conditions that allows my country to be right now in the front line of a very necessary green revolution that will transform our world and our people's way of life in the next years. Count with us, we are ready to do our part.
That's Minister André Alemán of Chile.